Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's episode we are going to be taking a worn out and knackered old Defender door card and then we're going to be turning it into this. If you missed it, recently we've just done a video on retrimming your dash top for the Defender, and for that we used a vinyl material that matched the seats. Now, I don't have a plan to retrim all the door cards in R110 because they're pretty tidy, but we do have another project coming up that's going to require some door card trimming in leather. So I thought I'd show you guys just what you can do with a knackered old door card. Now, I bought this off eBay, it's 40 quid, so replacement ones of these, non-genuine, I think are about £80, but if I'm wrong I'll correct myself on the screen. But certainly if you want a genuine one, they're just ridiculous amount of money. So there's nothing really to stop you getting these looking like brand new, and the best way to do that is to trim them. Now, if yours is anything like these, you'll see we've got quite a lot of damage. So just here we've got some indentations. Now these are generally caused by the door getting trapped against the seatbelt buckle, but you've got all sorts of little dents and dings everywhere. It's a little bit scruffy on the corners, but we can retrim this door card easily. Now, there is one massive trick that I need to show you to get this done properly, make it look right, and there's a couple of other little tricks of the trade that I can show you as well. That means you can do it yourself at home, and I think you'll have a really good result. Now, the secret, and I'll let you into this secret straight away, the secret to getting these door cards to fit properly is to trim them. And the reason you have to do that is because when you're adding a material like leather onto this, it's actually going to make this area here thicker. And what will happen is when you try and mount it onto the door again, the prongs, the little fixing clips, are not going to go far enough into the door. And it's going to stick proud, none of your latches are going to work. You might have seen this before where you put your door handle back on and it sticks up because it's not able to go in solidly into the door panel. So the idea is we're going to take 2mm from around the whole edge of this door card, and the best way to do that is with a sander. So you want to mask up to make sure you're not inhaling a load of crap, but other than that, I think this door card's pretty much ready to go. We've got a lot of grooves in this and we want to be able to retain some of the definition of the door card. It's going to look awful if it's just flat leather. So again, like the original, we want to try and retain some of these lines and some of the grooves, and also some of the areas where we're going to be putting the lock apertures back on again. So we want something to work the material into those grooves. A little tool I've made here is basically just a running wheel. What we've done is we've wrapped it in fabric. It still turns. We don't want it to spin too freely because it wants to spin when you've got pressure on it, and that should do the job of actually getting that material, the leather, deep into those troughs. So as far as dealing with these dents, we're going to use something that probably most of you guys might have in your workshop, and it's just quite simply some multi-purpose body filler. So you can see we've got just here, there's a little raise, so we're going to cut basically into that. We actually want it to be recessed so that we can fill it. There we go. You want to be taking off about 1.5 mm. Now I know that sounds a bit too specific, but 1 mm wouldn't quite be enough. 2 mm would be the max. So we've masked it off all the way around. That's too much really. I'm not going to be taking that much off, but at least I've got a point that I know to stop at, so that's okay. So you need quite an abrasive disc on this part. So this is a very important area because that's where your door striker sits, and you don't want that to be all blocked up with leather because it will tear. So we need to make sure that is nicely taken back. So there is the material that I've taken out of the striker area because that doesn't want to be chock full of material. Where our bolts show through, we need to make those holes a little bit bigger as well. We've sanded back our rim, the edge of the actual panel itself. I'm really pleased with that. Some of you guys might be wondering what we're going to be doing with these broken clip mounts here, and I'll show you there is a kit that we're going to use to actually replace those. So that's another thing you'll get out of this video, is if you need to replace some of your clips. Much less abrasive now for our filler. Here's where we've done our repair work. So pretty simple stuff, just filling in those gaps. That's the repair that we did, we had to cut out and fill. That's all nice and smooth, as is here where the door striker goes. That's really key as well. And then on the other side where it meets the hinges, that is for the door, the check strap, so make sure that's got plenty of clearance as well. And then these 2 points here where your bolts and nuts attach for your hinges. So LR Parts offer vinyl and leather, depending on what you want to do. Now it's slightly different vinyl to the stuff that we use on the dash top, because that's got a foam scrim underneath it to give it a nice padded look. If you put scrim vinyl onto a door card, it's much more likely to get torn because you've got movement, and if you get out with your boots and things like that and you catch it, it could snag and tear. So if you've got a vinyl that's got no scrim foam on the back, it's just a basic vinyl straight onto the panel, that is your best bet, and that's why leather is so good, but also leather's a lot more durable. Get yourself a towel or some old material and just put it underneath the middle here, so you can get some nice pressure on the door card without it dropping too much. Now bear in mind we've got a little bit of a slope here, so we want to make sure we've got some heat on the leather. So the only thing we need to be really conscious of here when we pull this leather down is we want to make sure we get it nice and tight here to go over that section there. So we're just going to roll it on gently. Okay. We don't want any creases. Now, we need to get our roller and some heat. Make sure it goes nice and deep in there. So I am putting a lot of pressure on. Okay, doesn't have to be super deep, but just as long as there's a line there, that's what I want. We've got quite a deep recess in the corner here, so again we need it nice and warm so we can spread the leather in there. I'm going to get my fingers into it, start in the apex, so right in the corner of that shape, and then pull the material this way as you're running your finger in there. So you've got to try and avoid those creases. Hopefully you can see that in there. What we're going to do is just get it to there. I'm going to get my hand underneath just to run it in that groove. On this edge here, we're going to trim this afterwards, it's not a problem, so we just need to pull everything up onto there and we'll pull it nice and tight and over. So you can see, hopefully there, well, I've just put my little trim piece in, because I don't think I can spread that leather to go around it. In last episode we retrimmed this old knackered door card from the Defender. In this episode we're going to fit it and fit some CNC hardware. Now luckily you can buy a replacement repair clip. There we are. And you could see how we just actually cut that out. It's pretty simple.